after seeing, from the air some of the damage in Port-au-Prince, sitting out in the streets, it's been one horror show after another. On more than a half dozen street corners that we passed, bodies are piled up in a row. Sometimes they're covered with white cloth, sometimes just pieces of cardboard covered with flies, and people, passers-by, just walking, hurrying to and fro, the business of the living continuing. Building after building in utter state of ruin. I'm standing in front of the Judicial Palace now, which is just a completely collapsed piece of white debris near the Presidential Palace, also in shambles. And just a moment ago, a horrifying scene, a man being dragged with a rope, a dead corpse, across the street in front of me. It's a scene of tragedy and desperation. We've seen very little security. Here and there, the occasional police officer. We did see a United Nations convoy going in and out of their headquarters up in Peshenville, and we saw them, of course, at the airport. What we have seen is, in a lot of open spaces in the city, people gathering in large parks or on corners under tents, tarps, obviously not fearing to either go back inside of a building or just not having a place with a roof over their heads that's stable. Well, there are some buildings that are standing that seem to be fairly stable, but I'd have to classify them as few and far between. Even the buildings that are standing, if you look carefully, you can see pretty obvious cracks and fractures in the walls and in the columns that are supporting them, which sort of explains perhaps why hundreds of people like the ones behind me are out in this park spending the night outdoors.